So, I recently saw a movie on YouTube and I kind of liked it, so I want to talk about it. The title of this movie is How We Got Here. This movie featured three big names in Ray Emodi, Nwosu and Uche Montana. It tells the story of a man, Edafe, who was sent to the university by his girlfriend, Onome, who had to work and labor so hard to make that possible. But when Edafe met a rich girl in campus, he dumped Onome with their 2-year-old son and moved on with the rich girl in campus, whom he eventually got married to. The lie Onome received was that Edafe had died in an accident. Coincidentally, however, Onome is hired to work in Edafe's house as a cook and cleaner many years later, and that was how problem started. First, I want to give a massive shout out to Uche Montana for absolutely acing her role as Onome in this movie. Her acting was largely impressive, but the most impressive part was towards the end of the movie while she and Edafe were finally having a discussion about what happened. You see, the good thing about this quality acting is that it erases that belief that Uche Montana can only play ajebo roles. Apart from Uche Montana, Ray Emodi and Nwosu acted well too. And I'm not forgetting the boy that acted Brume, that's Onome's son. He was decent as well. His name, by the way, is Chikasimma King David. It's rare to find child actors in Nollywood who act this well, so kudos to him. Furthermore, I was pleasantly surprised to see subtitles in the movie when the actors spoke pidgin. I mean, it's something I haven't seen in many YouTube movies that I've watched. So even though the use of subtitles for pidgin in this movie wasn't consistent, I was still impressed all the same. I actually look forward to these YouTube movies providing subtitles for the entire movie. It's way to go. Again, I like the central plot of this movie. It's a story very common in Nigeria, where a man impregnates a woman and disappears, only to show up years later after the pregnant woman must have suffered to raise the child alone. Now, the man doesn't just show up, he also wants to be part of the child's life all of a sudden. So usually the woman goes through pains afresh, as she is reminded of all the sufferings she endured alone while trying to raise the child. But I was a bit disappointed with how the movie ended. The same way such issues usually end in our society, with the man eventually having custody or access to the child. I mean, it sort of feels like justification for the action of these men who abandoned the kids initially. I would have loved a situation where the matter was taken to court and a kind-hearted lawyer took up the case pro bono for Onome and helped her win full custody of the son. That way, Edafe would have felt the pain of his action, I believe. It was also improbable how Onome reacted when she saw from the pictures on the wall that her baby daddy was her boss. It was the same as Edafe's reaction when he saw her. And it was even worse that Edafe waited till after a few days to try to have a talk with Onome for the first time. Now, I know many people are going to say, yeah, but Onome broke a glass when she saw Edafe. But that was because she was startled. It wasn't because she realized it was Edafe. If it was her boss, Edafe's wife, who walked in like that, she was probably going to drop the glass like she did. Finally, the movie was unnecessarily long. So many scenes were unnecessary. For example, there were about 4 back-to-back scenes of Onome and Brume selling abacha, long before she even started working for Edafe and the wife, when just one scene would have been enough. Then the back and forth about Edafe wanting to have a talk with Onome in his house was boring. I mean, we only needed to see just one attempt, with Edafe stating that he had made such attempts in the past without success. It happened again after Onome moved out of the house, and Edafe went to visit her many times, even though he was asked to leave each time, and he kept going back each time. I mean, we only needed to see him visit once, and then through their conversation, we would get to learn that Edafe had gone there several times and had been asked to leave. So the many times he went there and we were seeing what was playing out, it was monotonous. It was the same thing, the same result, and it made the film too long. The movie was about 2.5 hours long, when in fact it should have been about 1.5 hours at most. But I still consider this movie a decent watch, so I'll rate it a 6/10. Have you seen this movie? Please let me know in the comment section if you have and what you think of my review of this movie. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you get to watch more reviews when I drop them.